again, appreciate the opportunity to be with you here today to talk about AARP and the implications and the opportunities that come from greater longevity. Andrew and your colleagues, this forum is a wonderful idea, and it's great. It bringing us all from different sectors, different countries to share perspectives and best practices, all with the same goal in mind here. And at a time when we're all obviously talking about, there's so much talk about cross-border issues, it's really refreshing to be able to talk about cross-border solutions. If I may, just a couple more, just an overview again about AARP. We're a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization in the United States, founded in 1958 with nearly 38 million members, ages 50 and older. Our mission is to enhance life for all as we age. We work to create a society in which all people live with dignity and purpose, fulfilling their goals and dreams. I talked about our focus on health, wealth, and self. And we execute on our mission in a number of ways. We advocate at the state, national, and local level in the United States. We provide information and service to support those three areas of health, wealth, and self. We also encompass an initiative we call Disrupt Aging, and we've heard a lot about it today, about what it means, changing the conversation about what it means to age. And to talk about it more in terms of growing older, new possibilities and the new opportunities that it presents to us, rather than speaking about it in the negative views that we are all so accustomed to. And Andrew mentioned this earlier. Our CEO, Joanne Jenkins, says, 50 is not the new 30, 60 is not the new 40, 50 is the new 50. And we actually have t-shirts as employees that say Disrupt Aging, and on the back, we are supposed to be brave enough to have our date of birth with penned in on our t-shirts. Think of it as a new mathematical theorem where we're changing the meaning of a number. And certainly this work takes on added urgency in the context of greater longevity. Today, we've talked about this also, but a 10-year-old born in the United States, Canada, Italy, or France has a 50% chance of living to be at least 104. I mean, that's just astounding to me. We're at a century filled with centenarians, and the 100-year life has gone from a mere curiosity to something we all plan for in our work life, our family life, and in our policies and practices. AARP, while a domestic organization, has an international interest, and we serve as a global source of information and advocacy. Our Office of International Affairs identifies and shares best practices and policies on key policy issues around the globe. We convene a wide range of experts from around the world to share their knowledge on health, long-term care, older workers, financial security, retirement income, and livable communities. And we highlight some of our international best practices through our award-winning publication, The Journal, as well as conduct original research, such as our Aging Readiness and Competitiveness initiative that maps out how countries around the world are responding to the pressures and the opportunities of aging populations. We recognize global solutions require global participation, so we're working with organizations like the UN, the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, and OECD to spark a bi-directional flow of ideas and innovations, always seeking new participants and new audiences. And often that bi-directional flow of information is with UK-based organizations. We're pleased to work with several NGOs based here in the UK. For nearly a decade, we've worked with Age UK, and 4 years ago, we joined forces with the Global Council on Brain Health, which is an independent collaborative that brings together experts who provide information on maintaining and improving brain health, a major concern to our membership. For almost 30 years, we've worked with Help Age International, headquartered here in London, and we collaborated in global advocacy at the UN, and last year jointly published a report on universal health coverage focused on 12 countries around the world. We're also working on healthy aging issues and age-friendly community practices with the Center for Aging Better, which is part of the What Works network in England. All of these collaborations are promoting innovative solutions. And when we speak about innovation at AARP, we don't see it as a buzzword. It is part of our DNA, part of who we are and how we were founded. AARP was founded by an amazing woman by the name of Ethel Percy Andrus. This was in 1958. One day early in her own retirement, she went to check on the welfare of a former teacher, and she found this woman beset by financial difficulties living in a converted chicken coop. And jarred by that experience, she created the National Retired Teachers Association, a forerunner of AARP, so that retired teachers could advocate for their financial security as well as for education. And then as head of that organization, she went to 42 different insurance companies to see if they would write health coverage policies for people over age 65. And this was before the days of Medicare in the United States. She got 42 no's, but she got one yes. And from that uphill struggle, she took a positive message, one that inspires all of us today, which is the power of persistence and the possibility of changing the marketplace to meet the needs of older adults. After she created AARP, Dr. Andrus went on to be a catalyst for innovation, whether it was in health coverage, universal design in the home, travel, all the areas that we are still talking about today, 60-plus years later. We carry forward that commitment to innovation by promoting mobility solutions and livable communities, in the work of our charitable affiliate, the AARP Foundation, that works to combat senior poverty, and by investing, incubating, and collaborating on products that shape the market and meet the needs of older adults in this time of longer lifespans. And I spoke about it just a bit earlier on the panel. I talked about the AARP Innovation Fund. We partnered with J.P. Morgan, created at the time the first of its kind, a $40 million venture capital fund that invests in early-stage companies focused on aging at home, convenience and access to health care, and preventative health. And to date, we have invested in 6 companies. These include a national leader in the U.S. in technology-enabled primary care, a leading online food retailer, a company that's developed an active suspension system that significantly reduces vehicle instability, a company that acquires and manages eye care practices in independent optometry areas, a marketing security software firm that guards against fraud, and then a digital fraud prevention service that specializes in protecting data that's collected by healthcare providers and health insurers. We also created the AARP Brain Health Fund. Again, I mentioned that previously, but that's the $60 million venture capital fund that invested in the Dementia Discovery Fund. And as of September, the Dementia Discovery Fund, the DDF, has invested in an active portfolio of 18 investments in companies and projects. Around the world, there are projected to be 82 million people suffering from dementia by 2030. That's not very long from now. And for our members, there's no greater concern than brain health. So we're investing in the Innovation Fund and in brain health. We're also incubating. We have our own internal innovation lab where our team focuses on developing a pipeline of new and disruptive innovations. We work with startups to influence, shape, and co-create products and services for the multi-generational consumer. We work with accelerators, with academia, and with community partners. We're also partnering with promising new companies. Joe Coughlin mentioned a few of those, but for example, we're working with XR Health that uses virtual reality for physical therapy and other health solutions. We're also working with musical health technologies that created a SingFit, which is a digital platform that uses music to manage some very difficult health challenges, such as dementia, depression, and chronic breathing disorders. We're taking all of these actions in the context of the $7.6 trillion longevity economy in the United States. So what is our role at AARP? It's to help shape that enormous market. It's to support ageless design, stimulate innovation that helps older adults live healthier, more independent, more comfortable, secure, and fulfilling lives. But we take a broad view of innovation. Yes, it's about virtual reality, it's about robotics, but it's much more than high-tech products. It's also about finding creative ways to manage the 4 and the 5 generation workforce. Let's talk about the future of work, not only in terms of technological change, but also demographic change. We know technology is transforming jobs, and we're seeing with the rapid pace of technological advancement in areas such as AI and robotics, we've got the rise of new industries, the decline of others. It's redefining our workforce hierarchies and our job roles. We see it every day at AARP. Meanwhile, less attention, though, we believe, has been paid to another dramatic trend that's producing profound changes, longevity, that we've all been speaking about today. We believe we ought to talk about the impact of technology and longevity together. For example, the rising tide of automation challenges all of us to harness technology and increase productivity by augmenting current jobs and creating new ones. That means devising human-centered systems where workers have the skill set and the flexibility to take on tasks beyond what artificial intelligence can achieve. For instance, by having machines take on some of the more physically demanding roles, such as a robot that helps a nurse lift a hospital patient, can very well extend the working life of the nurse that is treating that patient. With greater longevity, people want and or need to work longer. The number of people in the United States who are working past their traditional retirement age of 65 has more than doubled since 1995. This era of extended work years presents great opportunity for people of all ages, employers, and governments to reimagine what it means to earn and learn over a lifetime. Employers will benefit from leveraging the different strengths and perspective that come from multiple generations working side by side. We believe a multi-generational workforce yields a stronger pipeline of talent, protects business continuity, and taps new resources to address labor shortages. AARP is encouraging employers to challenge outdated beliefs about age at work and launch a conversation about the value of the multi-generational workforce. Last January in Davos, we joined the World Economic Forum and OECD to launch a collaborative that we call Living, Learning, and Earning Longer Collaborative. As we focus on inclusive employment practices, we're tackling these questions. How do you create and invest in the systems that ensure a diverse and inclusive multi-generational workforce ecosystem? And when you do that, how does everyone prosper? Employers, employees, consumers? For example, when products are designed by a workforce that represents the population at large, consumers benefit. And as the world ages, the workforce ages, creating a more age-diverse workforce than ever. More generations are working side by side. And in the modern global economy, an increasingly age-diverse workforce is new territory, as well as an opportunity waiting to be seized. Relatively few, though, have grasped that opportunity fully. We believe age diversity is a competitive advantage. And here's what we know about it based on some of our own research and experience. Work teams that comprise multiple generations perform better than those that do not. An age-diverse workforce gives companies more insight into the marketplace, including the vast segment of the older consumers who are fueling this multi-trillion-dollar economy. The multi-generational workforce yields a stronger pipeline of talent. It improves workforce continuity, stability, and the retention of intellectual capital. And a growing number of organizations are finding that an age-diverse workforce boosts their bottom line. This is based on greater engagement and performance. And finally, 7 out of 10 tell us that they enjoy working with people from other generations. The older workers say they appreciate the tech know-how and the creativity of their younger colleagues. Younger workers say they value older workers' experience and wisdom. So building on this framework, we launched the collaborative, which has 3 pillars: create, invest, and prosper. Create refers to how corporate culture and climate affect the quality of employment. For example, how can employers provide opportunities for meaningful work? How can they build a culture of respect, inclusion, and equity? And how can they ensure secure and predictable employment? Invest concerns the standards, policies, and practices that support a well-functioning workforce. For example, how can employers invest in sound recruitment and retention strategies, training and skills development? How can they offer flexible work options, health and wellness programs, options for continued work and retirement, and caregiving leave, all issues that have been touched on throughout the day today. And the third pillar is prosper. How do employers translate a more age-friendly environment into business growth? How do employees and consumers benefit from products and services more aligned to meet their needs and their interests? How can employers retain market-valued intellectual capital, raise the stability and the engagement of their employees, and deliver products and services designed by a representative workforce? These are all key questions that we're addressing through the collaborative, and to date, we're pleased to say that we've got 25 global corporations and knowledge partners that have signed on. Some of these include Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, Aegon, AIG, Allianz, BlackRock, The Hartford, Mercer, and Standard & Poor's Global. With this collaborative, we're fostering a community of mutual learning where partners can share resources and collaborate on new research. And we've designed a number of touch points where the members can connect and exchange promising practices. We've held a series of regional economic roundtables in North America, Europe, and most recently in Asia. And we're holding invitation-only webinars to address key topics and bridge theory to practice by having business leaders speak to their experiences on the implementation front. We're also holding peer learning conference calls. These are informal sessions where the members will share information and receive technical assistance from one another. And we will have a monthly newsletter that highlights promising practices, research, and workforce news. We're also exploring a series of what we call learning journeys, and these are in-person site visits where the collaborative members can share noteworthy practices in action. All this work will culminate in a digital learning platform that we will launch at the 2021 World Economic Forum meeting in Davos. And with no disrespect for robots at the center for all of this change, it will be the demographics as well as technology that's changing the world of work. At AARP, we look forward to working with individuals and organizations around the globe to meet the challenges of global aging and also to recognize and reap the opportunities that it presents to all of us. Thank you.